So you are all in for a treat this morning, so we are going to get started. I am going to introduce our keynote speaker, and give me just a second to bring up his bio. Okay, sorry for the delay. Our speaker this morning is Darryl Pace. Darryl first joined Toastmasters around the year 2000 when he became a member of Dogwood Toastmasters in Atlanta, Georgia. Back then, he was so nervous about public speaking in front of groups, he frequently arrived at Saturday morning meetings late so he could miss table topics. After 2 years, Darryl took a hiatus and rejoined Toastmasters in 2013. Darryl is now a member of Franklin Toastmasters, the Brentwood Early Riser Toastmasters, and the Brentwood Evening Toastmasters, as well as the Advanced Toastmasters Pursuing Excellence. In 2021, Darryl reached the finals of the Toastmasters World Championship of Public Speaking. And now generally Darryl gets to his Toastmasters meetings on time. This morning Darryl will discuss skills that will make you more successful in every area of your life. Please help me welcome Darryl Pace.
We're going to discuss skills that will help you be more successful in your personal life, your professional life, your social life, and your Toastmasters life. It's a big promise, but it's true. And I know it's true because of what happened to me back in the spring of 1992. That year, I was finishing up my second year in the locked unit of a psychiatric hospital, working the midnight to 8 a.m. shift. The stress was high, my pay was low. And have you been in a situation that you wanted out of? That's how I felt. But I had an escape plan. I had enrolled at the University of Tennessee, Knoxville as a computer science student. I was going to get a new job. Go Vols. And the escape plan was going well. So on a Friday, that spring, 1992, I left my job for the day, did my normal morning routine, went to the University of Tennessee. I walked in a building, I think it's called Ayers Hall, and there's a big hallway there. The computer science department head, whose name, believe it or not, is Dr. Strange. Dr. Strange came up to me and he said, "Darryl, I'd like for you to be a wizard. Would you be interested in joining the Wizards group?" I said, "Yeah." Because the Wizards, they were this small group of students that took care of all the computers for all the students and all the professors in the computer science department. They were like a nerd version of the Avengers when it came to computer problems. They were the geekiest of the geeks on campus. It was a high honor to be a member of the Wizards group. Not only that, a lot of them got hired for good paying jobs before they graduated. I was thinking, man, I'm going to be out of the hospital soon. Now, the Wizards were overseen by a long-haired, kind of mountain man beard-wearing, Doritos-eating, Coke-drinking manager named Tom. And initially, I was a little bit apprehensive about joining the group because Tom was the guy who usually hand-selected the wizards. I was being placed in the wizard group by Dr. Strange. So I didn't know how Tom would feel about that. But have you heard the phrase, 2 peas in a pod, where people have a lot in common? After I had been a wizard for a few weeks, I saw that Tom and I were the opposite of that. We butted heads on everything, from small stuff to large stuff. For example, Tom liked it dark in the wizard office. I liked it light. Tom liked putting out refreshments of Doritos and Coke. Back then, I was into bodybuilding, lifting weights. I wanted protein powder and milk. Tom was into environmental issues and wanted to save the fish and the animals. I wanted my protein. I wanted to eat the fish and the animals. Some of the assignments Tom gave me, I didn't like. I told him so. I said, Tom, when are you going to give me something useful to do? That didn't go over too well. And some of the assignments I refused to do. Now this went on for a while until it came to a head. Tom called me to his private office. I walked in. It was dark. Nothing but the glow of a computer screen and a lava lamp. There was a half-drunk bottle of Coke on the desk, and it smelled like Doritos. Tom was quick, to the point. He said, Darryl, I'm letting you go. And just like that, poof, gone. My wizardly powers. I was devastated. And for a while I was angry. I thought, man, I was appointed a wizard by Dr. Strange and had my powers stripped from me by a mere mortal. But after some months and some time to reflect, I recognized that a large reason that Tom and I didn't get along, it was my fault. I recognized that if I had been better with people skills, more flexible with people skills, Tom and I would have gotten along better, and maybe I could have held on to that computer job. So over the course of time, I graduated, continued working on my technical skills, but also I worked on people skills. Went through tons of books, went through several courses, some Dale Carnegie courses, and did a year-long mentorship under this communications guru named Kevin Hogan. Spent a ton of money. Fast forward 20 years from the wizard position. I was working as an IT professional. My manager at the time, his name's Mike, he called me to the office. Kind of a familiar scenario. I walked in. It was well lit. Tom says, Darryl, you're among the top on our team as far as your technical skills are concerned. The people skills, which we call soft skills, are over the top. They're excellent. 5 out of 5 stars. We get consistent feedback from our customers telling us that they like doing business with you and therefore with us. And for that reason, we want you to lead our team. A question for you, my fellow Toastmasters. What made the difference between me getting whacked as a wizard and me getting kudos as a consultant? I had technical skills here. I had technical skills as a consultant. What made the difference? Soft skills, people skills. And I've discovered that these skills will help you in every area of your life. Personal life, professional life, social life, Toastmasters life. So we're going to go over 3 foundational soft skills this morning that you can use along with your Toastmaster skills to become more successful in every area of your life. Is that okay with you guys?
Yes.
All right, awesome. To start, please imagine that you're walking along a beach. You feel the beach breeze going through your hair, if you have any. You feel the sand between your toes, and your foot rubs against an object. You look down, it's a genie lamp. And because your foot rubbed it, a big blue genie pops out. This genie says, hi, I am a soft skills genie. I'm going to grant you 1 soft skills superpower. You have to choose this soft skills superpower out of a group of 3. Here's the group of 3. One that will cause people to like you, just enjoy being around you. The second that will cause people to trust you deeply. The third that will cause people you interface with, will cause their self-esteem to be boosted by you. Like you, trust you, self-esteem boosted by you. Now, to choose which one to choose one of these, think about what you're going to be doing over the next week. Think about all the activities you're going to be doing in the next week. Which one of those would benefit you most over the next week? You might think, hey, if I go for boosting someone's self-esteem, they're automatically going to like me. Not necessarily so. I don't know if you watched the initial season of the American Idol, but there was a judge on there named Simon Cowell. Simon Cowell was kind of a jerk. He's not easy to like at all. But when he gave someone the thumbs up, it instantly boosted their self-esteem. I mention that because it's possible to have one of these and not have the others. Okay? Like you, trust you, self-esteem boosted by you. Choose one, and once you've selected, give me the thumbs up. All right, very good. Tuck that in your mental file folder. We're going to come back to that toward the end of this presentation. Okay, I think I mentioned that through all the stuff I studied, there was a common thread. That common thread I call the Platinum Rule thread. How many of you have heard of the Platinum Rule? All right, I see a couple of you. How many of you have heard of the Golden Rule? Everybody. The Golden Rule says, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Yes. The Platinum Rule is a restatement of the Golden Rule. It says, do unto others as they would have you do unto them. So it is a restatement of the Golden Rule from the perspective of the person that you're talking with. I saw the Golden Rule, the Platinum Rule, demonstrated in my kitchen a couple of years ago in dramatic fashion. I was sitting in a corner. Our Golden Retriever dog was about 10 feet away from me, and about 5 to 10 more feet away from her was the bottom of the staircase. My daughter Lauren came walking down the stairs, and she had her head down, so she sees our Golden Retriever, Marcy is her name, but she didn't see me. Lauren says to Marcy, "Come here, Marcy, come here." And Marcy gets excited, goes over to Lauren. Lauren says, "Who's a good girl, Marcy? Who's a good girl?" "You are, Marcy, you are." And she starts loving on Marcy. She's scratching her under the chin, patting her on the head, giving her a back massage, a belly rub. "You're a good girl, Marcy, you're a good girl." And this goes on and on for, I don't know, 3 or 4 minutes. Then Lauren stands up after she finishes, and she notices me in the corner. She goes, "Oh, hey, Dad," and walks to the other room. Lauren had given Marcy the full-on Platinum Rule treatment. She had given Marcy exactly what Marcy wanted. Now you might be thinking, "Hey, that's great, Darryl, but Marcy's a dog. What soft skills do you want us to adopt? Do you want us to give people belly rubs?" No. No. What do people want? That has been discovered for us. Let's share my screen real quick.
Oh.
John Dewey, philosopher, said the deepest urge in human nature is the desire to feel important. Another philosopher, author, lecturer, William James, said the deepest principle in human nature is the craving to be appreciated. So when you can make someone feel important, when you can make them feel appreciated, you're giving them what they want. You are in that way implementing the Platinum Rule. So let's go a little bit deeper. How can we do this in practice? One way is by looking for the admirable, the excellent, the praiseworthy in everybody you meet. And by the way, this includes the person you meet when you look in the mirror. Look for the admirable, the excellent, the praiseworthy in everybody you meet. And then occasionally, tell them about it. Here's an example. Ahmad and Nick, I appreciate you guys. You guys spent hours with me trying to figure out how we can put on this hybrid presentation. And for that, I think you guys are awesome. All right, that's an example of sincere praise. There are 3 keys to sincere praise. The first is a tricky one. It's this: it must be sincere. People don't like flattery. Be sincere. If you're flattered, they catch on to that. They don't like it. A second key is that it should be specific. Notice I didn't say, Ahmad, Nick, you're awesome. That's generic. I said, Ahmad, Nick, I appreciate you spending that time with me. Specific. If you think about it, when you tell your loved one, or your friend, or your coworker, or if you're in management, your employee, a specific thing that they do well, that lets them know what they're doing well. That reinforces that behavior. We do this when we give evaluations, right? Sincere, specific praise. Thirdly, I like to say that we use sincere praise and appreciation similarly to how we use mayonnaise on a sandwich. In other words, sparingly, moderation. Because if you heap it on unnecessarily, it can become gross. It does more to repel people than to attract them. But if you use it in moderation, then just like mayonnaise used in moderation can bring out the best in a sandwich, sincere, specific praise used in moderation can bring out the best in people. Not only that, it's a two-way street. What I mean by that is this. Author, businessman Earl Nightingale said that the strangest secret in the world is that people become what they think about. So if you're always thinking about what's admirable, excellent, praiseworthy in other people, you're becoming the kind of person that sees the best in other people. And that is an admirable, excellent, and praiseworthy quality. You're becoming more admirable, excellent, and praiseworthy. When you praise people, you raise them. When you appreciate, you elevate them and yourself. Sincere, specific, sparing praise. There was a kid about 4.5 decades ago who hit the genetic jackpot. By the time he was 12 years old, he weighed 190 pounds solid muscle. He was very poor, grew up in the streets, and he saw fighting as a way out of the streets. He heard about a legendary trainer that was close by. He went to interview with this trainer. The trainer said, hey, I'm very selective in who I train, but what I'll do is I want to see you in the ring with my best boxer. So this kid says, okay, the best boxer and this kid start fighting, and the trainer told the kid he wants them to go 3 rounds. The best boxer and the kid start fighting. Round 1, the best boxer's beating the kid up. Round 2, the best boxer bloodies the kid's nose. It starts getting messy. And the trainer says, okay, stop, I've seen enough. But the kid says, no, we said 3 rounds. I'm going the 3 rounds. The trainer says, okay, have it your way. And the boxer beat the kid up for another round. After that was over, the trainer goes up to the kid. He had seen something excellent, admirable, praiseworthy in the kid. He said, hey, when you came here, I saw you had the physical tools. But now, I know you have it up here. You have the mental tools to be a great fighter. And if you keep it together, you're going to be the youngest heavyweight champion in history. And the kid believed it. And the kid went on to become the youngest heavyweight champion in history. The kid was Mike Tyson. The trainer was his legendary trainer, Cus D'Amato. When you praise people, you raise them. When you appreciate, you elevate them and yourself. You boost their self-esteem. That is one of the soft skills. Sincere, specific praise. All right, let's go to number 2. For number 2, I need a volunteer from the audience. And actually, come on, if you would, please. Number 2 is speaking in terms of the other person's interests. There are a few do's and don'ts to this. This soft skill will cause people to be very interested in talking with you and conversating with you. You've probably heard this saying that people are constantly tuned into channel WIIFM. What's in it for me? Have you heard that before? People's primary concern is themselves and their interest. So when you talk with them, you want to talk in terms of their interest. If you talk in terms of what they are interested in themselves, then we'll talk in terms of their interest. There's some do's and don'ts to this. We're going to go over the don'ts first. So am I. If I come off somewhat as a jerk here, it's just for demonstration purposes. All right. I did an exercise a few weeks ago with a fellow Toastmaster. I didn't warn him up front that this was going to happen, and I think he still hates me. It was Charles Albright, who's probably on our screen there somewhere. Anyway, we're going to demonstrate some do's and don'ts of effective conversation. Ahmad, what would you be doing this Saturday morning if you were not here at TLI?
I would probably be trying to...
Okay. All right, this reminds me of don't number 1. Don't interrupt the person talking with your own thoughts. You'll see, if you notice people having conversations, a lot of time an idea will come to a person, they jump in immediately, want to get their thought in there. We should avoid that. All right, Ahmad, you were saying.
I would probably be trying to find a golfing location to play golf at.
Have you been golfing for a long time?
Probably about 10, 12 years.
Awesome. I've been golfing for 20 years, and I've made it to the Masters myself. And okay, this is don't number 2. Don't one-up the person you're talking with. Avoid doing that. It is not entirely respectful to do that, and it won't go over too well. Avoid one-upping. The last one is avoid filling in. So for example, if you're talking to me and you're telling me something that you've done that you're excited about, and maybe it's a topic that I know something about, and I butt in and go, ooh, 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 and I fill in for you, that's not good. Don't fill in. Let's see, a good example of that is, say for example, you've gone to a movie. You're telling me about the movie, you get to the best part, and I butt in and say, yeah, and Dr. Strange got all the enemies and slayed them. I took over, I stole your thunder. Don't one up. Don't fill in. All right, let's talk about the do's. Let's start over, Ron. I apologize. All right, tell me now, if you were not here, you'd be doing what?
I'd be trying to probably find a golfing location.
Okay, where do you golf usually?
Usually probably around the Goodlettsville, Madison area-ish.
Okay, awesome. What is your, I'm not a golfer, what is your handicap?
I don't know if they make a number for my handicap.
All right, that sounds good. So here's a do. Do ask questions of the person. Be curious about the person. And usually when you're talking with someone, when they talk about something they're interested in, they'll show more energy. Look for those topics they show a lot of energy in consider those to be keywords. Those are the things you want to center your conversation on. So for example, Ahmad likes golfing. We can talk more about golfing. I could learn from you about golfing. How you hold the club, you know, how to not shank the ball. I'm a great shanker of the ball. Just learn from the person, be curious, be interested. When you're interested in the person, they become more interested in you. When you are interested in the person, you become more interesting to them. Thank you, Ahmad. Let's give him a round of applause. Be interested to be interesting. Avoid cutting off, one up, and filling in. Do ask questions. Listen for keywords. Be interested. Talk in terms of the other person's interested, other person's interest. That is, be interested to be interesting. All right. We're going to do one more exercise. And this one is an experiment. But we hope it works with this hybrid audience. All right?
Do you want to stop sharing?
Oh, yes. Your assignment is as follows. You're going to be paired up with a group 2 person, and you're going to tell that person a story of something that made you happy. Kind of like a little tabletop skill. And you tell the story no matter what your partner does. Okay? So, group 1 will tell a story. So let's do this. If you're group 2, if you have that orange mark, could you come up to the front and grab a sheet of paper from this orange folder? This contains your instructions. Group 2. As the person is telling you their story, you are to do as those instructions indicate. Group 2 people find a group 1 partner.
Figure out how to even it out. So,
I see what you're saying.
Don't let your group 1 partner see your instructions. Don't let your group 1 partner see your instructions.
Yes.
All right, group 1 people, share your story about something that made you happy with your group 2 partner. Group 2 partner, listen to your group 1 person per the instructions that you received. We're going to give you a few minutes to do that. Go ahead and share your story, group 1 folks. Group number 1.
where's your camera?
Group number 1.
You mean the one that's
Did
there?
it seem like your group 2 partner was listening to you? How could you, what gave it away that they were not listening?
Eye contact. Interruption.
Okay, so no eye contact.
Asking irrelevant questions.
Interrupting. And you say irrelevant, asking irrelevant questions, huh? Okay. These are obviously indications that the person you're talking with is not listening to you. How many of you have ever been in a real life conversation where it seemed like the person you were talking to wasn't listening to you? Yeah. All right, we're going to do another round of this. And this time for group 1, instead of telling necessarily a story that made you happy, tell something that was meaningful to you. It could be something that made you sad, or it could be, say for example, a time you were with a child and they did something special or got an award or you got an award, just something that was meaningful to you. Tell your group 2, tell your group 1 partner a story of something that was meaningful to you, okay? All right, group number 2. Did it seem like your group 1 partner was listening to you?
Yes.
Cool, thank goodness. All right. All right. So, what were some indications that your group 1 partner was listening to you?
Eye contact.
Eye contact. Excellent.
Ask you questions.
Okay. Relevant questions. So, they kind of, would you say they listened, they kind of reflected back with relevant questions?
Yep.
All right.
Very attentive.
Very attentive? I'll say they reflected back relevant questions. Body language, they reflected back body language as well. That's a big one. Researchers say that when people are in rapport, their body language tends to mirror or match the person they're in rapport with. So you can reflect back body language. You can do that on purpose. You can reflect back body language. It makes the person that you're talking with feel more comfortable. You reflect back what they say by asking them questions about it. You can actually reflect back identically what they say just by saying, repeating it back just to make sure you understand it better. That's a good way to reflect back. How about, did they seem accepting of what you were saying?
Yes.
Acceptance is a big deal. Causing the other person to feel comfortable as well. And did they show empathy in any way? Empathy is putting yourself into the other person's shoes, seeing things from their perspective. That is a key to effective listening. Empathy. And if you empathize with someone, then it's easier to accept what they say. Now, if you accept what someone says, it does not necessarily mean that you agree with them. You're accepting their feelings about the topic, seeing things from their perspective. All right? And did they, the listening person, they didn't interrupt, did they? Okay, so they listened in silence as well. So tell me, what organ do you listen with? Ears. Ears. There is an effective way to listen with your ears. It's by showing empathy, acceptance, reflecting, and silence. That's how you listen correctly with your ears. If you do that,
It's a magic trick.
if you do that, it will cause that person that you're listening to trust you deeply. My youngest daughter, the one who likes our dog better than me, she plays volleyball, and she had some difficulty at one of her matches, and she didn't want to talk about it, but her body language spoke volumes. Her body language was saying, "Dad, don't talk to me." So I didn't check with her. I asked her one question, but based on her body language, I didn't continue. A little bit later, a few days later, I was taking her to volleyball practice, and I said to her, and then to Lauren, I said, "Lauren, anytime you want to get something off your chest, feel free. I'll be a sounding board. I won't even give you any advice unless you ask for it." She smiled. Her body language said that she had appreciated that. About 6 months later, she came to me again concerning something that happened in volleyball, and she was upset about it. I think her coach hadn't given her the playing time that she wanted or something like that. She was upset about it. She didn't talk to anyone except for me. I think that listening with my ears laid the foundation of trust for her to share with me later. Listen with your ears. This is very helpful in all areas of life. Business. business with customers, personal life, social life, to bring you closer to the ones you love. Listening is a key skill. It's probably the most difficult one to master out of those we've gone over this morning. It is a key skill. It is very, very powerful in developing great relationships. Okay, before we wrap up, let's do a real quick rapid review. And with this, for the folks here in person, if you get an answer right, we have 4 door prizes up here. We're going to give away some door prizes. All right. I mentioned 3 keys to sincere praise. I'm going to make this count. I would say give me one of them. Someone give me one key to sincere praise. I think I saw this hand go up first, right there.
Be specific.
Be specific. Very good. All right. Feel free to come and get a door prize.
Thank you.
All right, awesome. She chose the throw. Very good. Okay. When talking in terms of someone's interests, it's probably a hard one. What's one thing you should do? Yes?
Be curious about them.
Awesome. Come on up, Jason. Get the door prize. Next one. What is a characteristic? This is an easy one. What's a characteristic of listening with your ears?
Right there.
Yes. Who said silence out loud? I heard somebody.
The whole row.
Ironic.
All right, one more. One more. It's a repeat of the first question. I said I mentioned 3 keys to sincere praise. One has already been mentioned. The specific one has already been mentioned. What's another one? I think I saw your hand go up first.
Authentic. It's sincere.
Sincere, yes. Come on up.
Mr. Thesaurus over here.
Okay. We've got over 3 skills. Thank you very much. Let's give them a round of applause. Sincere, specific, sparing praise. Talking in terms of the other person's interests. And listening with your ears. About 4.5 years ago, I was doing some independent consulting. I had about 3 or 4 customers. One of them was responsible for about 80% of my revenue. So if I had a dozen eggs, about 10 of them were in that basket. When that company sneezed, my company got a cold. When that company caught a cold, I learned that I couldn't survive off 2 eggs. My company came down with terminal pneumonia. I had to start looking for a job. I started talking with a company around town, and we went through a series of phone interviews. They then invited me to a restaurant to talk with the hiring manager. His name was Ed. The restaurant was Bricktops in Nashville. So Ed and I meet there, we start talking, and Ed tells me about the day-to-day of the job, and he says, "Hey Darryl, you did good on the phone interviews. You're in the top 2 out of a pool of 13 candidates." I said, "Cool." We continued to talk about the job, then our conversation veered to more casual stuff. I talked in terms of Ed's interests. I listened. I learned that Ed played basketball at the collegiate level. I was impressed. I told him so. I said, Ed, you played basketball in college? You could probably just destroy me on the court. Ed said, yeah, I would. We continued talking, and then Ed says, he paused. He paused and goes like this. You're hired. He says, your technical skills, they're good. Your people skills put you over the top. I look forward to working with you. I mention that because these skills will work for you if you use them. They will work in your personal life, your professional life, your social life, your Toastmasters life. Now, recall at the beginning of this, you chose a soft skill from the Big Blue Genie. Remember that? My challenge to you is to use that soft skill over the next week, but don't stop there. The next week, choose another one and use it. And the following week, choose another one and repeat the process over and over until these become a habit-knit part of who you are. If you do that, you're going to prosper. You're going to prosper in all areas of life. It's my admonition to you. Go forward and prosper. Thank you very much.